To understand the university, you've got to understand that there have always been groups who have used Ole Miss for their purpose, and the Klan decided they would do it too, to make a statement about white supremacy, a statement about who they were. And so when they called after deliberation and consultation, they are guaranteed, as a public place, they're guaranteed their First Amendment right of expression. And we probably could have said, no, it's a game day, because we have the right to determine time, place, and manner. But we decided that we would rather have control over the situation than to have them do something on their own. Anytime the Klan is protesting what you do, you're doing something right. And so after Chancellor Jones had stopped the playing of From Dixie with Love because of the chant, "The South will rise again," we anticipated a backlash. I've seen this happen previously when we got rid of the flag and the skinheads showed up. Sometimes we're blind to things that are wrong and hurtful and archaic and outdated because we write them off as tradition or something we've always done. But when you call it off and then you see who comes out of the woodwork to support it, and you see evil embodied in their bigotry and their hatred and their racism, then I think it causes a lot of people who never consider to say, well, if that guy's for it, I'm against it. The hate that the Ku Klux Klan showed that day was very visible, it was very prominent, it was well publicized, and I would like to think that we're going to be a campus where we're going to be conscious of turning our backs on hate on a daily basis. We had it very controlled. They asked, if you've ever been here on a game day, you know how precious a parking space is. Well, when they called and we were negotiating with them, they wanted 8 parking spaces. And at first, there were people who refused, and I said, you know, we need to give them a parking space, and we need to give them a parking space very close to where this is going to happen, because we didn't want them parking over by the tennis courts, putting on their robes and walking across campus. And so we had them in a controlled setting, and I'll tell you, the Grand Dragon with whom I spoke, he must have been the most scared man in Mississippi that day, because when he was talking on the cell phone, his hand was shaking. We put him on the steps of Fulton Chapel, and so we really never had any fear that it was going to get out of hand. We have a great police force here. We had extra police in. We actually had a riot squad who was not visible. So we met several times, very carefully determined where we would put them, how long they would be there, and let them have their say. Of course, the moment was greeted on 2 occasions, one by the crowd of fans and alumni and LSU people who just totally derided, sometimes pretty viciously, the Klan.
Bunch of morons! None of y'all ever attended the class at Ole Miss!
Then the other was that our students, under the leadership of One Mississippi and ASB, got together and did a counter-protest called Turn Your Back on Hate, where they read the creed over and over and over and over again.
The University of Mississippi is
a community of learning, dedicated to nurturing excellence in intellectual inquiry and personal character in an open and diverse environment. As a volunteer member of this community, I believe in respect for the dignity of each person. I believe in fairness and civility. I believe in personal and professional integrity. I believe in academic honesty. I believe in academic freedom. I believe in good stewardship of our resources. I pledge to uphold these values and encourage others to follow my example.
I think was a very powerful response. It became even more powerful when alumni stopped and joined in, and even when LSU people stopped and joined in. So to take that situation of the Klan, yes, they have their say, they have that right. Let them say it and let's get them gone. You've got to be very sensitive to to anybody who's been a victim of hate, whether it's this generation or preceding generations. And you have to understand or do your best to empathize with the hurt and the fear that a group like that might bring. And but our students, our African American student leaders, provided a great resource for those students to do what they did, which was much more powerful than the hateful words of the Klan or their presence. That at one point we had a chance to either embrace our past or to run from it. We couldn't run from it. I mean, what happened happened, and I think in 10 years ago, when we had the Open Doors celebration, celebrating 4 years and the dedication of the statue, we embraced that. Hey, these things did happen. We're not going to run from it. And you know, you talk about Emmett Till, but you also talk about Myrlie Evers, and you talk about Angela Davis and Bobby Seale, and you know, these were radical '60s black activists, and I mean, so yeah, we need to hear the message, and we need to be the leader in it, and we need to keep the dialogue alive. Now, do we need to relive 1950s, 1960s? No. But we can't ever forget the lessons of the past, or we'll be doomed to repeat them. We were one of the first schools. We were surely the first school in Mississippi that integrated. But because we've, yeah, have we had issues? Sure. We have idiots all the time who do stupid things because they come here thinking that's what they're supposed to do. And my message to them is to stay home. You know, don't bring your agenda here. And I look at folks like again, go back into student leadership. The students who have come here and have led the charge to get rid of the rebel flag, who have worked with the chancellor on any number of issues. The students who created One Mississippi, which is a group for dialogue among the races. We can never erase the days in 1962 that happened. We can never erase some of the ugly incidents that have happened here. We can take those as lessons, and we can learn, and we can talk about them, and we can address issues as they arise. And we can figure out ways to deal with it, ways to learn. Because, you know, we think every student who comes in here is sensitive to race, and that's very naive if we believe that. I don't know you can say that there's ever a status quo about race. I think race is an issue that's fluid, because particularly on a college campus where you change over half of your population every year, and you have different students with different beliefs. You have vacillating numbers. You have different environmental circumstances, and you have different events that occur that either help to improve relations or exacerbate problems. And I think that as a university, we've got to always be conscious that fluidity exists, and to be ready to do what we can to, when it starts going in the right direction, continue there, and to be cognizant of when things are not right, and then try to change them.